Every single sport has a showman. Football has Ronaldinho, basketball has LaMelo Ball, and we have Michael Venom Page. More often than not, the showman isn't necessarily the best athlete, but rather the most entertaining one. And with that entertainment comes a lot of benefits, recognition being one of them. But that's just one end of the double-edged sword. The other end is the criticism you face should you lose, and that was Michael Venom Page when he got knocked out by Douglas Lima. Before I continue, I ask that you like and subscribe right now, then you can unlike and unsubscribe at the end of the video if you don't enjoy it. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and I'd really appreciate your help. Thanks. Douglas Lima was a high caliber fighter before he fought MVP. He had a record of 30-7, had won multiple Bellator tournaments as well as championships. The only fights he ever lost in Bellator were against really good fighters like Rory McDonald, Ben Askren, and Andrei Koreshkov, who was 17-1. Whereas MVP was building up his resume fighting cans mostly, with his best win being Paul Daly probably. In as much as he was fighting cans, it didn't seem like there was going to be any fighter in Bellator that was going to manage to counter his point karate style. That was until he faced Douglas Lima. In round 1, Douglas Lima was mesmerized by MVP's flamingo legs and knew he was no match in the speed department. MVP was using the oblique kick to keep the distance between him and Douglas. Then Douglas began the execution of his game plan, throwing leg kicks as MVP darts in. MVP throws a right hand as Douglas Lima was leg kicking and lands. He attempts a right hand that lands, then Douglas takes him down with a trip. Douglas Lima was only able to land one elbow, then MVP's grip strength paid dividends when he held on Douglas' wrist for the remaining 2 minutes of the round. In round 2, MVP opens with a spinning wheel kick that gets blocked but still does damage. He then lands an oblique kick. Shortly after that, he rocks Douglas with a 1-2, then gets overconfident. Douglas remains calm while he intercepts MVP's blitz with a leg kick that trips MVP, then lands an uppercut from the depths of shield, and just when you think it's over, he lands 2 more strikes on MVP's corpse. And he handled this loss very well, giving Douglas Lima his flowers. In as much as MVP got knocked out, he was still in the fight and was arguably winning, so there were a lot of unanswered questions, meaning we needed a rematch, and that's exactly what we got. This time it went to a decision, and decisions leave a lot of room for controversy. In round 1, the first right hand lands clean but didn't do as much damage because MVP was intercepting Douglas's leg kick, and you can clearly see Douglas recover immediately. The second right hand looked like a knockdown, especially from that angle which it was shot from, but it landed on Douglas's torso and you can clearly see it in the replay. Douglas times a takedown as MVP throws a right hand. He then lands a few ground and pound strikes. Aside from the quote-unquote knockdown MVP landed, there wasn't anything else significant, whereas Douglas landed a few heavy ground and pound strikes as well as some low kicks, not to mention his takedown and control time. I don't think it's fair to score a strike as a knockdown when it's thrown as the opponent is off balance unless it lands flush. Brian Ortega's right hand against Volk is a great example of that. Douglas Lima wins the round 10-9. In round 2, they open landing low kicks simultaneously with MVP's one doing more damage, then MVP lands a jab. Douglas throws a low kick that trips MVP, then he almost knocks him out the same way he did in the first fight. Douglas lands a body kick, then MVP lands 2 oblique kicks. MVP lands an overhand over Douglas's guard. Douglas lands a low kick as MVP lands a jab. Douglas gets MVP against the cage, then lands a body kick. MVP lands a jab cross with the cross looking like it landed, but once you watch the replay, you'll notice that it was the jab that landed. It seems like it drops Douglas, but once you watch the replay, you'll notice that once again, MVP pushes him down whilst he's throwing the strike. MVP still wins the round 10-9 though. In round 3, MVP lands an elbow that rocks Douglas, then a jab. Douglas lands a low kick, then a lead hook as MVP blitzes, followed by a takedown, then lands a combination of grounded elbows and punches till the end of the round. MVP was arguably winning before he got taken down because in as much as they were even, MVP landed the hardest strike of the round, which was the elbow. But as soon as Douglas took him down, that changed the whole course of the fight. He not only controlled MVP but also landed ground and pound. This round was close, but I have to give it to Douglas Lima. It's pretty clear that MVP was the star of the promotion, so they did everything they can to give him easy fights and score the hard ones with bias. Because Douglas Lima did every single thing he can to win this fight. He had the aggression, the takedowns, the control time, and he had the damage, whereas MVP only had success on the feet. I would give the judges the benefit of the doubt if they only scored the fight live and didn't have access to the replays afterwards, because I don't understand how any rational human being can see a punch not land on someone's chin yet still count it as a knockdown. but I wouldn't go as far as to call this fight a robbery. It was very close and difficult to score. Douglas Lima beat MVP twice in my opinion, and those wins are aging like fine wine with how MVP is performing in the UFC, having beat young and hungry prospects Sharapova and Magomedov. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.